everyone, today we're going to be looking at making healthy breakfasts. Now we all know that cereals are just not an option, not for our kids and not for ourselves, and neither are pancakes unless you make them this way. So we're going to be making today pancake cereal. Now that sounds like something on TikTok, and it is, but we're going to be doing it a much healthier way. We're going to be increasing the protein content of the pancakes, making them into tiny little dots, and we're going to be putting them into a bowl with either milk or berries and honey to make them into something that your kids won't even know is good for them, and you're going to love it too. So the first thing you're going to need is a good blender. All houses need a good blender. So what we're going to put in here is flour. So you can use normal flour, self-raising flour. This is buckwheat flour. You can use gluten-free flour. It's really up to you. You can make this as keto-friendly as you like, or you can keep it as close to a real pancake. It depends on you. So we're going to pop this in our blender. And everything goes in one place, followed by half a cup of milk. It can be cow's milk, can be almond milk, it can even be plain old water. It really depends on what your personal preferences and dietary needs are. Then to increase the protein content of the pancakes, most recipes call for 1 egg. I want to pop in 2, and then what we're going to do is add some whey protein powder. I love whey protein powder. It increases the bioavailable protein of just about everything, but you can also use collagen. It really doesn't matter as long as we can get that protein content up, and that's going to make all the difference when you are wanting to create something just a little bit healthier for your family. Then we're going to follow that with a little bit of sea salt, because salt improves the taste of everything, and then finally a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And all we're going to do is pop this in our blender and blend it up until it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to put it on the stove. Just move some of this flour down and get everything incorporated nicely. You don't want your batter to be too thick or too thin. It should be the consistency of fairly thick cream, and that'll give you a nice texture. All right, so from here, the trick is to move our pancake batter into a squeezy bottle, and this is going to give you the control you need to make tiny little pancakes on the stove. Slip really nicely with no lumps into our squeezy bottle. And this recipe will even keep in the fridge overnight, even for a day or two. So you can prep a large batch and then keep it in the fridge. And then in the morning you can simply cook them on the stove. It takes a couple of seconds and you've got the most delicious breakfast. So it's really, really easy. What you need is to get a nice pancake pan, preferably cast iron, because cast iron distributes the heat nice and evenly. You also don't want to make the heat too high because your little pancakes are going to burn. So put it on high, heat the pan up, turn down the heat so it's just nice consistency. And we're going to pour tiny little droplets of our pancake mix into our pancake pan. And that is how we make tiny little pancake cereals. I love these. There are amazing little snacks that you can take on hikes. You can put them in lunch boxes, breakfast on the go. It really solves the problem. And if you make them according to this recipe, then you're getting more protein and much less sugar. You do need to watch for the bubbles. You don't want to let them burn. So how do you know when your pancake's ready? You see bubbles coming up, and you see the edges, the periphery getting a little bit dry. So they start crisping at the edges, but you don't want them going too dark. All right, so we're going to leave those for just a few seconds. You can see the bubbles coming up really nicely now. And then we're going to start flipping them. And once they're flipped, you can leave them on the other side for just a couple of seconds. You don't want them to be too cooked through. You do want to use a non-stick spatula. It makes life much easier and it doesn't damage your pans. It does take a little bit of practice to get these guys, and it's really so easy. Even your kids can do it. There we go. They're looking so cool. Again, just be aware of the temperature. You don't want them burning, and they will burn really easily. All right, so these guys are ready. We'll wait about 3 to 5 seconds just to make sure they're cooked through. So our pancake cereal is ready. All we need to do is pop it into a bowl. Now I've got yogurt in here, but you can use any milk, you can use juice, you can even do it dry. And top it off with some banana And lastly, I've got berry coulis, but you can drizzle honey, you can do maple syrup. I just love the color, and I love the phytonutrients and all the polyphenols that you get out of berries, and the sweetness, of course. And there you go. It is actually a protein-filled breakfast that looks absolutely incredible.